Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. So we have plenty of stocks to talk about and we have our entire research team joining in to help us with that list. Kotak Mahindra Bank is the first one on our radar. Abhishek is here. Abhishek, good morning.
Good morning, Sonia. So, Kotak Mahindra Bank was present at Spark conference. The key takeaways from that conference highlights is that they intend to take the unsecured portfolio to 15% of the total loans from 11% that it is there currently. They have appointed Mr. Rohit Basin from HUL Singapore for the marketing side of their business. Liability side, their focus is on gaining deposits in active money, which is costing higher than saving deposits. So, it's costing about 7% when compared to 6% that they pay on saving deposit, but it is lower than what they pay on the term deposit, which is north of 8%. So 811 account, 81% of 811 customers are less than 35-year-old and they have higher average balance than saving deposits as well in some category. So they don't want to chase size at the cost of value in terms of home loans. 150 to 200,000 customers are being added via branches. However, through digital platform, 6 lakh customers are being added. So not much of branch expansion is what they are focusing on, and they are focusing on consumer loans to increase while wholesale loans to reduce. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Abhishek. Well, let's hop across to Vivek. He's here to track some of those railway-related stocks. Morning, Vivek.
Well, good morning. I expect the entire spectrum of railway stocks to continue to remain in focus. Some significant news flow coming in overnight. So what's actually happened is that the cabinet has yesterday gone ahead and approved 7 multi-tracking projects worth over 32,500 crore. Now, these projects will cover 34 districts in 9 states, including the key states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, UP, etc. Now, along with that, what actually happens is that the existing network of the Indian Railways will increase by 2,339 kilometers, while, all of the railway stocks will remain in focus. Further details in terms of, who exactly is the PMC, the project management consultant, and, who will be the suppliers of all of these makers. We are still awaiting these details, but it's a broad-based positive development as far as railway sector is concerned.
Vivek, thanks very much for that. Well, after a brief 2 or 3 week break, blocks are back and how. And Nimesh is here to tell us the blocks which happened yesterday, the sellers, the buyers, and of course there's lots lined up today as well. Nimesh, take it away.
Hi, Prashant. So there are a couple, 4-5 stocks. I'll start with Adani Power first. Huge block, 8% equity got changed hands. Confirmation as well, at the end of close that the promoter entity was a seller. So they've sold close to 8% of the company's equity, and a single buyer, GQG, has bought a large chunk of that equity. So nearly 9,000 crore is what the GQG is investing now in Adani Power. So that's the first one. I'll go with green there. The second stock is JSW Energy. Even that was part of my charter list. Confirmation of the promoter entity was a seller in yesterday's block. 2 crore shares got sold. And again, GQG was a buyer. Nearly 1 crore shares bought by GQG in JSW Energy as well. So that's the second one. The third stock is... really good. Mangalam had put out a story in the morning yesterday, and there is a confirmation as well now that the Burman family, the 3 entities of Burman family, they've bought close to 5% of the company's equity. So their holding goes up to 19% now, and it was a clean-out trade from a Singapore-based fund. They sold out entire 5% stake, which is 2.5 crore shares. And the last one is IIFL Securities. The Prem Vatsa's fund has sold close to 60 lakh shares in a block deal yesterday. There was a lot of chatter that some large HNIs have bought. Some names have come, but largely the Prem Vatsa's fund has sold 60 lakh shares in IIFL Securities yesterday.
All right, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. And normally we look at the end of the day large trades to find out who other party is. Once Nimesh tells us in D-Street Chatter, we just look for the confirmation. So congrats, Nimesh. Most of them nail on the head on those. Well, let's move on. Sonia, you're watching Vodafone Idea as well?
Oh, yes. So, Vodafone Idea had a conference call and it's not, the takeaways were not that great. So, I'm going with red on that stock. They talk about how the fundraising, which is the big, trigger for them, that continues to remain elusive. They have had multiple talks, multiple discussions, and nothing has closed yet in terms of fundraising. They have not even reached the final stages in terms of a discussion, and hence, because there's no fundraising happening, the liquidity constraints continue, and that could impact their network investments on both the 4G coverage expansion as well as the 5G rollout. Now, what this means is that the subscriber base could continue to decline for them, which is a big negative, and they've decided not to take the lead on any tariff hikes. However, if competitors raise tariffs, then they are happy to follow. Now, what this means, of course, is that Vodafone could be in the red today. JP Morgan has a target price of 3 rupees on the stock, so they expect a big downside. But this would also mean, positive for the other incumbent players, both Bharti and Reliance, so I'm going with green for them.
Okay, Sonia, thanks for that. Well, let's hop across to Ekta. She's here to tell us more about Lupin. Ekta?
Thanks for that. Well, the big and much awaited launch has come through for Lupin. They have launched Spiriva generic, which is basically the inhaler used to treat COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, in the US markets. Remember that it's a $1.2 billion market size in terms of drug, and they are expected to have exclusivity or less limited competition at least for the next 3 years, according to analysts. Now, this news was already factored in, considering that they had received US FDA approval in June, and this is a story that Vivek had broken on CNBC-TV18 as well. Now, in terms of the approval, in terms of what they could make from this particular drug, they could see revenues of around $35 to $40 million in FY24, $130 million in FY25, going up to $150 million in FY26 from just this particular drug. Now, Lupin's US generic sales could also rise all the way to $850 to $900 million, simply because of the momentum from this particular drug as well as others. Now, we expect the stock to be in the green today because of that sentiment and the positivity that we've seen in terms of Lupin and the spate of launches. But remember, the stock has already rallied significantly.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ekta, for that. Well, let's take a quick look at all of the stocks that we're talking about today. With positive news flow, there's Kotak Mahindra Bank, RVNL, Ircon, JSPL, Adani Power, JSW Energy, Relige Enterprises, IIFL Securities and Lupin, while Vodafone Idea is the only stock with negative news flow on our radar today. But let's find out what's happening in the world of crude. Brent crude prices are actually now at almost $83 a barrel. There are some concerns in China as well with regards to demand as well as the economic slowdown. Manisha Gupta is here to give us a roundup of all the action there. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, and thank you for that, Sonia. Well, yes, the crude oil prices have continued to decline. A fourth straight day today, by the way, and we're trading at a 2-week lows right now. So with the dollar index trading at a 6-week highs and weak economic data continuing out of China, the pressure in the energy markets has just about continued. And not just that, the metal space is extending the declines as well. So you are looking at the Fed policy minutes signaling more rate hikes on table. That doesn't augur well for the space. You have copper prices now trading at a 7-week lows. It's a 2-month lows continuing for silver, steel and iron ore as well. Zinc clearly an underperformer. We've seen nearly 3% decline overnight in case of zinc prices, and with that it brings the prices to 2.5-month lows. So further pressure is what the street is anticipating, and we're down by nearly 4 to 6% for many of these commodities already into this week.
Okay, well, Manisha, thanks very much for that. We'll take a quick commercial break here. Up next, Anand Tandon will join in for a quick check on stocks. Lots of stuff moving around. We have an interesting conversation lined up. After that was Rahul Sahai of Kirloskar Oil Engines. We talked to them about business, first quarter numbers and the outlook ahead. Stay tuned.